You're listening to the Mind Manual Podcast, episode 53, How Small Hurts Break Big Bonds and How to Heal Family. If you want a particular result in your life, but you're unable to get it, tune in to start training your brain and expanding your emotional intelligence to unlock the most powerful and underutilized performance tool that we have. It's the most important work you could do because it affects every area of your life. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today's episode is one I believe many of us carry quietly but deeply. It's about family, and more specifically, the unseen unraveling of family relationships. Not through explosive arguments or dramatic betrayals, but through a slower kind of pain. 1,000 paper cuts, a disapproving glance, a sarcastic remark, subtle dismissal of your truth. And over time, these seemingly small slights pile up. And one day we realize we're pulling away. Today we're going to talk about how that happens, why it hurts so much, and what, if anything, we can do to mend what's broken. This one's for anyone who's ever whispered to themselves, why does being around them hurt so much? We're going to have a little look into Sarah's story, which has the ring of when silence feels safer than connection. Sarah, a 36-year-old, a fifth grade teacher who lives alone in a cozy apartment 2 towns over from where she grew up. Her fridge is covered with crayon drawings from her students. She makes great coffee. She's funny in that dry, quiet way. And she hasn't answered her mother's call in over a month. But this isn't the story of a dramatic family rupture. No slammed doors, no ultimatums, no one incident to point to and say, that's when it all fell apart. For Sarah, it started long before she had the words for it. Cutting back to a memory flashback, she's 6, sitting on the kitchen counter in her soccer uniform, feet swinging. Her mum is slicing carrots, and Sarah begins to share with her mum, look, I made a goal today. And mum, without looking up, replies, well, maybe if you practice more, you'd make 2. A smile leaves Sarah's face, but she doesn't say anything. She never does. Over the years, these comments stack up. Not cruel, just constant. Tiny stings that don't bleed, but never quite heal. And they might sound like, are you really wearing that? I'm not saying you're fat, just that those pants don't flatter you. Well, I guess you tried your best. No man's going to stick around with that attitude. They're brushed off, laughed off, dismissed as, oh, that's just how she is. But the thing is, how someone is becomes how you feel about yourself when you hear it enough times. Cut to present day, Sarah recalls, I just stopped wanting to pick up the phone. There wasn't this big moment where I said, that's it. It was slower than that, like erosion. You just don't see the cliffside crumble. You just notice one day the view has changed. She used to call every Sunday. It was a ritual. Then it became every other Sunday. Then just birthdays and holidays. Now, even those feel like obligations, chores dressed up as tradition. But here's the part no one talks about. She misses her mum. She misses having a mum she could talk to. The idea of her, the version she'd hoped she'd grow into. The one who'd ask, how are you really? And not immediately correct the answer. But when Sarah tries, when she actually brings it up, gently, cautiously, she's met with, oh, stop being so sensitive. God, you're still holding on to that. You know how I am. And just like that, the door she was cracking open, it slams shut. Sarah reflects further on it. I didn't even feel angry anymore, just drained, like I lost something, and didn't even know when. Her story isn't unique, and that's what makes it so powerful, because this kind of pain, this death by 1,000 paper cuts, is so common, it's invisible. We've been taught to overlook it, to say, oh, they meant well. It's not abuse. At least they're still around. But presence without emotional safety isn't connection, it's proximity. And being close to someone who makes you feel small doesn't heal you, it hollows you. Sarah's learning to name what happened, not for revenge, not to punish, but to understand. Because when you can name it, you can start to release it. She's in therapy now. She's building boundaries that don't look like walls. They look like doors with locks. You get to decide who has the key. She's learning how to reparent herself, how to speak to herself in the voice she always needed. You are not too sensitive. Your needs matter. You don't have to stay where it hurts. Maybe someday she and her mum will talk again, really talk. Maybe they won't. But either way, Sarah's learning that peace doesn't always mean reunion. Sometimes it means release. And maybe you felt that too, that slow shift, that invisible ache of just wanting to be loved without being judged. If that's you, I want you to know you're not ungrateful. You're not overreacting. You're just waking up to the truth that love without safety isn't sustainable. And that truth, it's the first step towards healing. So let's have a little look at what emotional microaggressions and relationship trauma are from a few experts in the field. Dr. Laurie Santos explains how chronic invalidation affects the brain. When our feelings are minimized repeatedly, our emotional regulation system begins to shift. We learn to suppress instead of express. Dr. Joy Harden Bradford adds that these aren't just bad vibes. They are microaggressions within family systems, subtle yet damaging. And they leave us confused. Why am I hurt when they didn't really do anything wrong? Over time, cortisol levels stay elevated. Your nervous system associates your family with stress instead of safety. It rewires your desire to connect. And I want to pause here because I know someone might be listening who is thinking, but they're my family. I just can't walk away. And I get that. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Proximity doesn't equal intimacy. Blood doesn't guarantee safety. And sometimes the hardest thing is realizing that people you love don't know how to love you back, at least not in the way you need. But that doesn't mean the story has to end here. Let's have a look at how we can navigate change and setting some boundaries. So I've listed a few tips and tools that you could try. The first being to name the pattern. You feel hurt, but you don't know why. Journal these moments. Might sound something like, when my dad says X, I feel small. Clarity comes first. Use disarming language. Try, when you say that, I know you may mean well, but it hurts me. We also have to learn to reset expectations. And we need to stop expecting people to show up in ways they've never shown they can. Also, practicing compassionate distance. As explained by Brené Brown, it's possible to love someone and limit their access to your inner world. And the final tip is repair, don't repeat. If you want to stay in relationship, share your need for repair. I don't want to pull away, but I need to feel safe with you. Share this with them. Set the boundaries. Share what you will do if you hear the things, the patterns that are repeating that hurt you. So give them a heads up. And if they do it, and they will likely do it because it has become a habitual way of being and showing up with you, then follow through with what you said you will do and just keep yourself safe, minimize that hurtful exposure, and they will soon get the message. You will soon be retraining how you show up differently when they do the thing and repeat the pattern that does hurt so much. So if your personal story might sound similar to this one, months have passed without speaking to someone in your family, not because you don't care, but because you don't feel safe, just know that love doesn't necessarily mean always staying close. Sometimes love looks like space, like choosing not to fight, but also not to fake it. And when, if you both come back ready, you might be able to build something stronger. Before you go, here's a journal prompt for the week to reflect on. What's one small cut I've been carrying, and what do I want to do with that pain? Let's just look at it, name it, unravel it, recreate it with new boundaries, and share it with your loved one and see if we can repair those ruptures together. And if today's episode resonates with you, share it with someone you might need to know that they're not alone. And remember, healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it begins in silence, in reflection, and in choosing yourself. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come and check out Mind Scholars. It's my monthly coaching membership where we take all of this work to a much deeper level. We study it and then apply it to the everyday in every way. So if you want to take your life to a whole new level, join me in Mind Scholars over at themindmanual.com/join. I look forward to seeing you there.